What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again, finally, back again, after a forced break, which has been one of the most annoying periods of time in my life, which I guess I'm lucky in that way. Regardless, we are here, we are back, and we are going to get going here with the Blue Jackets. Now, I have a couple of things I need to address before we really get into the meat of this episode. Of course, two big decisions on the horizon for us. First off, though, using your feedback in the comments of the last episode, we have turned off GM firing. And in general, the second point I have to make really has to do with the rosters on the game. We all know that the rosters just absolutely suck, but if I go down the rabbit hole of editing everything, which really I probably could have done with the amount of time I had to take off, I didn't though. We haven't made any new additions. In the comments section, you guys mentioned Zach Werenski, and if I add one person, I'm going to want to add as many people as I can, so I didn't go down that rabbit hole. We have changed the overalls of a few free agents. Ilya Bryzgalov, for example, is no longer an 85, which was shocking, just absolutely shocking. And we have changed the overalls of a few players as well. Chris Pronger, Pavel Datsyuk, Mark Savard, players who clearly aren't going to, actually play in the game, although I'm sure, as the game tends to do, it just has those teams cut those players. So I don't know if they'll exactly face the penalty there. First things first here, though, before we get into making moves with this roster, the relocation option. Of course, we are going to use it. We have to use it before the season starts, or we will have to play a second season on top of our first season here with the Jackets in Columbus. So we need to get this done. The question is, what do we do? What do we name the team? What do we have the jerseys look like, the logos? What do we do? We know it's Quebec City. It is absolutely Quebec City. But what do we do? What do we do? Do we go with the Nordiques logo and the old school color scheme? What do we do there? Or do we go with one of the custom logos that would kind of fit the Nordiques name? Northerners, I believe, is what it is in French. Something like the Viking might work. This fucking Davy Crockett looking motherfucker might work. And then you have the interesting option here of the Siberian Husky as a logo, which is actually something, it's close enough. If it's not a husky, it's a wolf, and they're close enough. That's actually what the team was going to switch to before they eventually relocated to Colorado, which, it sucks for them still. But regardless, that's what they were going to use. We don't necessarily need to use the colors that they were going to use, which was like a purplish. Late 90s, man. They had some weird jerseys. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What should we do for the logo and the team colors? They don't have the Nordiques play-by-play name in the game, but considering the only time we'll really see our arena and the in-game stuff is during very important playoff games, if not only in the finals, I don't think it matters necessarily that the Nordiques play-by-play name is not in the game. We could just name them the Nordiques. The play-by-play name could be the Northern All-Stars. They don't have Northerners in there or anything. But let me know down below what you guys think. And of course, if you do see comments from other people that you agree with, make sure to give those guys a thumbs up so I know it is just kind of the general statement. Now, moving on to the team as it stands, I will have a big decision for you guys in this episode, as I tend to have. But we do have a couple of things that we need to do first. We need to completely flip the Cleveland Monsters because, my God, is their team terrible. Like, more than Bridgeport, I think. I think it's a combination of EA just underrating them and just maybe players missing. Like, I'm not sure. Really quick, I do just want to make sure that QC is still an option because I'm restarting this. I think that we are good, though. Yeah, medium interest, so we will be moving to QC. But either way, the Monsters are terrible. I'm going to have to flip about 95% of that team. But before we do that, we are going to go to the wrong menu and kill some time. That's what we're going to do. We are going to implement our relocation penalty. Now, as you guys kind of affirmed, that will be a cap space penalty, signing a ship player to a 2-year contract worth $2.5 million. And we're also giving up what originally was going to be a second and a third round pick, but then in the comments down below, it was brought to my attention that the Blue Jackets owe the Vancouver Canucks a second-round pick for signing John Tortorella, the genius that got the U.S. out of the World Cup of Hockey. So what we're going to do is we are going to send our 2018, not 2017, we're going to send our second-year, second-round pick to the Canucks to kind of make good on that and keep it somewhat realistic. And we're still going to give up a third-round pick. We're actually going to give up another third-round pick as a penalty. So a second and 2/3. I don't know who to send this to. Who could we send this to? You know what? Toronto. Fuck it. We'll send it to Toronto. Why not? Just send it to Boston and make that. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. The Bruins need all the help they can get with Don Sweeney at the helm. So here you go, Don. Don't fuck it up. 2 third-round picks. You reap the rewards of our cap, or the first part of our relocation penalty. We still have to implement the cap penalty. To do that, we have to clear up just a little bit of roster space here, and that guy is going to be Curtis McElhaney. I actually bumped him up from a 74 to a 76. It's not like it really helps his value, but I did think they were just a little bit unfair to him. I believe the Anaheim Ducks could use a goalie. Indeed, they could. So could Chicago, but we should be fine here. 6th and a 7th sounds good. We just need to get rid of them so that we have a contract spot, and indeed, they took it, so that is good. And yeah, let's find somebody here. Who is going to win? Who is going to be the Charlie Bucket of NHL 17 and find that golden ticket, the lowest overall player? Now, I would give it to someone like Robida, Pronger, or Datsuk. Like I said, they would be here, but I don't want to risk them retiring. So the lowest overall guy is this guy right here, Maximilian Faber, 23 years old, 44 overall. If he's real, like, hey, cool. I should look up on, what is it, fucking Elite Prospects? Elite Prospects. I should look it up on there, see if he's actually real. If he is, then cool. But if, I mean, is it worth being in NHL if you have that low of an overall? They didn't even put your face in there. Is it really worth it? I'm not sure. But let's see here if we can sign him to this deal. It'd be 2 years at $2.5 million, and then once we get him, we are good to move forward to try and shape this roster in a pretty big way. We do have a lot of moves we have to make. We're going to be signing a lot of players to one-year deals down in the AHL. I do have one trade in mind for sure, and then another trade that, again, will be up to you guys along with the logo decision. Budget allocation, I will be screwing around a bit more with that. It's not too interesting to just be like, oh, here, let me set the promotion in the bobblehead days. Anyway, Max Faber has signed, and now we can move on. Again, we can auto-assign promotions and all that shit. We do have some trades to make, and then, like I said, we have some free agent pickups to make. Now, this first trade is going to be a real trade, I should say. You know, it's not going to be just, oh, I want to throw people away. This is a trade I actually want to make. We need a new left defenseman. Right now we have Prout and Golubev as our two guys. We need somebody else, and after taking a look at the rosters, I think I've settled with Nick Holden, 84 overall. Not too great. He's solid defensively. He's a decent third pairing guy, and he does have a pretty favorable contract for that spot. So we will look to get rid of him, and there are a lot of players, like I said, that probably are underrated. Guys like Siebenaler, for example, who we might actually have to give up here, and Vinio. I think I saw, I forget who put it in there, but the proper pronunciation. To solve that issue, I'm just going to try to get rid of him, really, and hopefully that works out. I think that trade might work. I don't want to get ripped off too much here, though. Let's just see if we can throw on like a 6th round pick, just to make sure. Are we good? And they rejected it anyway. Will you take it straight up? They will, and you know what? I'm content with that. Vinio's not bad. Siebenaler a bit underrated, but I'm confident with moving forward that this team will be all right, and we get Nick Holden for our defense. Now the other trade, and like I said, I was gonna let you guys decide this at the end of the episode. We will do it right now, just so we can not have to come back to this menu. We have too many left-handed shots. As a result, we are going to trade Boone Jenner. If you guys have watched my series, you know I prefer lefties on the left, righties on the right, centers, it doesn't matter. Boone Jenner could technically be a center. You know, we could drop Alex Wenberg down. Originally the centers were going to be Dubinsky, Wenberg, Carlson, and Campbell. We could drop Dubinsky to the second, or keep him on the first, have Jenner on the second, and just drop Wenberg, who is an 84 overall, down to the third. Or we can do this trade. You know what? It'll be a two-parter here. Should we keep Boone Jenner and move him to the center spot, or should we trade him so Wenberg can be on the second line? Now, if we do choose to hold on to Jenner, it might complicate the trade that I have in mind, but once you guys make that decision, I'll be able to, further assess the situation, and we'll still make a trade. We still need a new right wing. But anyway, the trade in mind was going to be either Boone Jenner to Los Angeles for Tyler Toffoli, who I'll get you guys a look at right here. He is a very promising player that'll certainly help us out, and he still has a little bit of a development to go. He is a free agent at the end of this year, but hopefully cap space will not be an issue once we can get rid of some of these terrible contracts. The other option was Brendan Gallagher. A little bit worse, excuse me for a minute, a little bit worse than Toffoli. But, I don't know, maybe making a trade with our soon-to-be number one rival, Montreal, as we move back to QC. Maybe that'd make things a little bit more interesting. He does have a decent contract long-term, too. So let me know what you guys think. Should we trade Boone Jenner or move him to a center spot? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I worded that awkwardly. Should we keep Boone Jenner and move him to center, or should we trade him outright for a right wing? If we trade him, we're guaranteed to get a better right wing. If we hold on to him, it might be a little bit lower quality than Cam Atkinson will probably be the first line right wing. Now, allow me here to quickly breeze through a lot of garbage because we have a lot of players that I want to get rid of. We have some guys who are perhaps a little bit undervalued. Salatoro, Thurkau should maybe be a little bit higher. But we need to clear out some spots here because the goal is to have the Monsters be competitive and who knows, maybe retain their title, the Calder Cup that they just won this past season. Will New Jersey take this deal? They will not. I'm hoping to get a second out of this, and I do. That's not too bad. Thanks a lot, Salaturo. And we'll get rid of a little bit of garbage again. These trades, I'm not necessarily trying to fine tweak it, and make sure that we get the most back. It's more just clearing out spots for players who aren't going to make it. And remember this too. I'm allowed to do this now, but once we start drafting players, I'm not allowed to just get rid of the garbage that we might end up picking up. So I do want to take advantage of this while I actually have the opportunity. We have another 5 players there. The Islanders could use some players. Do we have anybody who's really worth? Mutri's worth a decent amount. He's someone who I think should at least be bottom 6. I think that's a little bit unfair, but playing the hand that we were dealt, we'll look to hopefully get a second-round pick out of the Islanders as well, and we do. You know what? I'm not against that. I think we're getting fair return. Remember this too. We are only allowed 12 picks in a draft. So at this point, it's already looking like I'm going to have to get rid of some 7th and some lower picks in that draft. Of course, we're only allowed 3 first-round picks as well. I don't think that'll be an issue in this series. We don't exactly have the assets to just rack up a ton of first-round picks. But let's see. We have a lot of defensive garbage we need to clear out. And then we're pretty much good to just start signing everybody. I have some players in mind. Again, massive roster turnover, but I am intrigued to see what you guys say about Boone Jenner. Originally, it was just going to be, yeah, we're trading Boone Jenner for one of those guys, but then looking at his face-off ability, that might have just saved Boone Jenner a spot here in Columbus. Can we get a 3rd-round pick from the Rangers for all this garbage? We cannot. We'll just look to get some lower picks. We'll look to actually get it in the 2018 draft. Give us a bit more flexibility. And this isn't going too well. New York, come on. 4th, just straight up. Cool. You know what? I'm happy with it. Fuck it. Just a 4th round pick Fine by me. We could have tacked on a 6th or a 7th there, I'm sure. I really don't care. Again, it's not about getting the most return. It's about getting rid of people that we don't need. Unfortunately, Ruop is, or however the hell you pronounce that, he has a little bit of potential, a little bit of trade value, but the potential is just a little bit too low. Graves is the last one because we are keeping Golubev. Easy for me to say. I still don't think I'm pronouncing his name the right way either, but god damn it, it's spelled funny, and words are difficult. Last trade here, and then we can get in to signing some free agents. We're also going to be taking advantage of signing 2 better prospects, which I'm excited to see how that goes. I just completely undersold that because I forgot that Ruop had a little bit of trade value. So that's my fault, but that's okay. Getting into the free agent signings, we're not going to be able to get any of the big players. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure if I would want any of the big players. But we are going to be able to take advantage of signing 2 decent prospects, those being Rocco Grimaldi and Jack Dougherty, who fall into the same bracket, the top 9, top 6, and fringe starter goalie potentials. We're allowed to sign these 2, and then nobody else unless they are bottom 6 or under, which I'm really not interested in bottom 6 players. So we will look to sign Jack Dougherty. He always seems to hit free agency, even last year. And then, of course, Rocco Grimaldi, who has a little bit of interest from some other teams. Why can I not offer him more money than that? Shit, we have no cap space. How did that happen? All right, well, because I really want to sign Rocco Grimaldi, let's see just how that happened. It might be because of Faber, which would really suck right about now, but that's the penalty that we paid. And let's see. So forwards were good. Is Faber on the team? Faber's not even on the team. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God damn, we just have no cap space. Simple as that. We just have absolutely no cap space. What if we send down Golubev? I think that'll leave us enough room to sign Rocco Grimaldi and the rest of the players, because thankfully if we have people under 2-way deals, they immediately go to the AHL. The problem is, clearly, we're not going to be able to put Faber on the main team. I don't think, at least. I might be able to send down Clarkson, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to afford to put Faber on this team. We'll have to see how it pans out. Rocco Grimaldi, I'd like to sign him for 3 years. We'll offer him as much as we can. How about that? We'll offer him as much as we can to make sure we get him away from Edmonton and New Jersey. And now moving on to the players that we are going to sign for the Cleveland Monsters, and there are a lot of them, so hopefully I can get through this somewhat quickly. Let's see here. Where is the first? And I have a feeling I'm going to overlook somebody, so I'm really trying to focus. Let's see. Come on. Where the hell are all these people? Matt Fratton, you were the first one. You were the first one. We'll get you on a 1-year deal. Adam Burish is another player, 1-year deal. Jerry D'Amigo is another player, 1-year deal. Zach Boychuk, welcome to the Monsters, because I know you're not going to decline. Eunice Kempinen, former Bruin, will hopefully be a monster. Chris Connor, former Portland Pirate, will hopefully be a monster. Just the premier signing, Danny Heatley, will hopefully be a Cleveland Monster. Peter Mueller, who might be a Bruin this year, which is kind of weird. He might be a Monster, and I believe that was our last potential signing. I'm just going to go to over in the 74 range just to make sure, and I think we're good. Moving on to defense. Goaltender, we're good. Like goalies, we are completely good, which works out perfectly. Let's see here. Take care of AHL first, and we are going to need... Actually, we are going to need a left-handed depth guy. Brad Stewart's a lefty, isn't he? Yeah, Brad Stewart's a lefty. We'll get him as a depth guy to back up Holden. And then for the AHL, we need Steve Eminger. We need Davis Drewiski. We do. I really hope I just offered him a 1-year deal. I kind of blinked for a second, and I would hate to know that was a 2-year deal. We have Tyson Strachan, who will get an offer. And then there was one other, Dylan Reese. was that other player. And I think we're good. 15 contracts offered. That's not too many, right? I think we're good as far as that goes. So now the hope is that everybody resigns, and then that'll do it for this episode, and I can pose you guys the question on just what exactly we do next and what we do with Boone Jenner. I will take a look at the owner goals before this episode ends, but I just need to know that everybody's here. Rocco Grimaldi has accepted. Thank God we have him. Now we just need Jack Dougherty and everybody else. Jack Dougherty is here. Where is everybody else? Come on now. Thank you. Tyson Strachan, Eminger, Connor, Drew Whiskey. Everybody just wants a chance to play, and that is perfect for us. So let's get the roster set up, and I'll show you guys exactly what my thoughts are behind this team. Again, we don't have much room for improvement. The team just kind of is what it is right now, but obviously we can mold it a little bit more as this series goes on. It is only our first year. We have plenty of time. So the NHL roster is set. The AHL roster should be looking good as well. Is Brad Stewart there? No, he's not. Where did Brad Stewart go? He said he accepted, didn't he? Yeah, I'm looking at forwards. I thought I was looking at everybody. Wow. Not my finest moment there. I apologize. All right, so let me get this team set up really quickly. I'll show you guys the lines that we could potentially do. No, I do not want the assistant coach's help. He is terrible. He is awful. So let's see here. Potentially, these could be the lines moving forward. And let me get this set up as quickly as I can. And then again, if we drop David Clarkson, David Clarkson's like having a cap penalty in and of itself. So we might not exactly need Faber. And at the very least, Faber is taking up a roster spot. So right now, this is what the team is potentially looking like. We have Saad, Dubinsky, and then Jenner, who might end up being in the center spot or not here at all. Imagine Tyler Toffoli or Brendan Gallagher. And that, again, that is up to you guys. Let me know down in the comments below, but also vote on the polls. If I remember to vote on the polls that are attached to this video. You, of course, can click the icon in the top right corner. Second line, Nick Foligno, Wenberg, and Atkinson. Not too bad. It does suck that Cam Atkinson's 27 now, though. He's not going to get that much better, and 86 at best, depending on his form. We have Hartnell, Carlson, and Gagne. Calvert with Campbell and Stoll. We could put Hartnell down there just to kind of have like a grind line. It doesn't really matter. Calvert is somebody that I want to get rid of. Defense, it's looking okay. We have Johnson Savard, who ideally would eventually be the second pairing behind Murray and Seth Jones. And then, of course, we have Nick Holden with Dalton Prout. The goalie you all know is Sergei Bobrovsky with Eunice Korpisalo. Down in the AHL, it's a little bit more interesting because we do have some decent options. Like, we have some prospects mainly that we do need to get some playing time. And that was the idea, was to have them be surrounded by these somewhat veteran players. You know, not exactly the finest of talents, but it's better than nothing. And we get Rocco Grimaldi there on the right. So generally, that's how I want it to work out. You know, we'll have Bjorkstrand and Milano on the top line. From there, it's just kind of thrown together. Let's see. Somebody is out of place, though, and that would be Boychuk, who needs to be over there. Perfect. That would be the team with any combination. The main focus on Milano, Bjorkstrand, and Grimaldi. A little bit towards Josh Anderson. I'm not sure if he is going to make it, as I meant to hit defense and the tab wasn't there. Defensively, again, not the finest defense in the world. It would probably be Harrington and Golubev as the top line. And then from there, it's just pure depth. Ideally, we'd be able to have Stewart and Golubev on the main team, kind of like you guys would have seen me do with the Islanders, where, you know, we had, I can't think of who it was specifically, but they were there and ready to go. And ideally, too, we would have Hetherington in for Drew Whiskey. I am not going to do that at the moment because this episode's gone on long enough. But there you guys have the broad idea of what I want this team to look like moving forward. The question is Boone Jenner a part of those plans? Trading block I will set up in the next episode. That will be Clarkson, Hartnell, and Nick Foligno. I'm actually going to keep Brendan Dubinsky, and we'll see what happens from there. And with that, I think, I think I covered everything because, god damn it, that was a lot to cover. Now, all of a sudden, we are under contender status, which scares me because I don't think this team can make the playoffs. But again, owner firing has been turned off as you guys wanted. As far as the owner goals go, like I said, if we can make the playoffs, cool. We can't actually upgrade the seats because it's the season. You can only do that in the off season, so that's kind of dumb. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. If you made it through, holy shit, congratulations. And I do thank you for watching after the extended break. Again, glad it's over. So happy to be back, and I cannot wait to go through this series. Let me know, what is the team name, what is the logo, and is Boone Jenner a part of this team? Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button to help support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already to make it easier on yourself to continue following the series. Hell, even hit the little notification bell, that new fucking thing that nobody will use, to get email notifications for the email account that you don't check because it's 2016 and it's not Twitter. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's like the 5th time I've said it, and I'll say it every goddamn time with passion. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's good to be back.